Hello, everyone. It's Rebecca Jackson again with Empathic Crow. I have been feeling like I've needed to do a reading since I did the one that ended up being more political. And after doing that reading, there was a lot of interesting things that happened. There were some childhood memories that unlocked for me that I have now found there are many people around the world who have very similar or the same memories. And please excuse me, my hair is starting to grow back in after some stress hair loss. So I know I probably look crazy, and I didn't feel like putting makeup on just to do a reading. So what you see is what you get. I did put a little bit of jewelry on, partly because I like to pick out stones that I feel connected with. And today is very much so a heart chakra day for this reading. So we have this necklace has some peridot, green tourmaline, moldavite, and then I don't know how to say it. It starts with a P, but it's the green amethyst, Perzoli, something like that. We've got some ruby and zoisite. We've got some green aventurine, and then a chakra bracelet that my brother made me. These all felt very important. And then my earrings are bloodstone, I believe. Yes. So very much so green stones, heart chakra energy. I do have a page of notes that I wrote pretty much with my eyes closed, because there were messages that wanted to come through outside of just what the cards could bring. And I just ended up writing it on paper that I had printed out because I didn't know where my journal was, and it ended up being in the bag with the cards. So we just use, or I use whatever I can at the time. But when I initially had received information or saw something that triggered and unlocked these memories from childhood, there was a lot of just overwhelm, feeling like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And then remembering things that had along the way reminded me of those experiences, but that you just kind of push aside because it's like, surely this couldn't be a thing. And so when I was writing down the messages, a lot of them seem to be related to this. And I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but since learning it, processing it, connecting with others who have had similar experiences, unlocking more memories, there's actually not a sense of fear. It's like a sense of peace. It's as if there are parts of me now that make more sense. Experiences that I've had that it's like, okay, now I get it. And if you've had this experience and you're in this kind of world of mediumship, tarot reading, energy healing, psychic abilities, things like that, just know that what happened did not take away any of that. It actually, I feel like, unlocked some of the things, although it did kind of slow down how those things came to us, or when they came to us, or our understanding of them because of the way that it was done. But it didn't, what I'm hearing, it didn't take away your power. Like, it didn't make it to where, like, don't have imposter syndrome. You were still you. You were still meant to have these experiences of insight and ability to especially use them to help other people. It's just, there was and still is a fear of people who understand that they can connect with things outside of themselves, like higher self, which technically, I guess, would be within you, but it's like the subconscious. It's part of you, but it's not something that we're always tapped into. That we can connect with God, angels, guides, ancestors, universe, source, whatever it is that you want to call that divine guidance. And I don't know what is making this massively, I don't know if you can hear it, but since before I started this reading, like right before I started the reading, there's this high-pitched ringing, like, and I know the air purifier in our bedroom, mine and my husband's bedroom, makes a noise like that I'm constantly aware of, because I'm highly sensitive, and so I pick up on, but I have been in this room and everything that is on right now has been on. I don't know what this noise is, but if I seem distracted, it's because that noise is very irritating. So that's kind of thrown me off a little bit, but we'll go ahead and just start and dig into this, because I don't know exactly what all is going to come through in the cards. I have read over my notes, and so I'll go ahead and read those first, and then we'll get into the cards. I will be using the Crow Tarot by MJ Cullinane. I'm also called to the Urban Crow Oracle, which is also by MJ Cullinane. Don't know why I said it that way. That's so weird. And then the Divine Time Oracle deck. I haven't used this one in a reading on here before. I've only used it a couple of times with readings, because I don't always like to give a timeline, because for me, the way that I try to explain it is your past and present, that's pretty accurate. That's on point, because those things have either already happened or they're happening right now. Like, it is in this moment. With the future, while there are some aspects of the future that can be kind of divinely timed or set or things like that, at the same time, it's about choices. So if you make a choice that is different than what you were contemplating at the time of the reading, or different than the situation you were in at the time of the reading, and then also we have the fact that there are other people in our lives and situations, and so there are a lot of variables outside of that. Oh, I don't know what that is, but it's really annoying. Then that could interfere. Like, this is interference. That could interfere with the outcome that was decided at the time. This is really... And now there's like a low tone coming in too. Just like a steady humming. So I've got, like, in this ear, this high-pitched noise, and in this ear, there's this low noise, which is crazy because some of the memories that were unlocked were about, and maybe that's why I'm supposed to be saying this in case anyone else has these experiences, was about binaural frequencies and tones that right now they're annoying the crap out of me, but were to unlock different things within the subconscious, and also connection to things outside of ourselves, but without explanation and things, and it caused for many of us some very terrifying experiences. And so yeah, I don't know what these sounds are, and I haven't heard them in this room before. So I'm going to try to power through this and ignore them, but maybe I was supposed to mention them. Oh, geez. Just as something for people to understand that piece of it, that there were different tones and different frequencies, and that actually different tones and frequencies, we have to be careful because everything is energy. Everything is frequency. I'm seeing, like, you know, when they hook up the leads to the plants and things, and then you hear these beautiful sounds that come out of the plants. Or when we look at kind of how water reacts to various music, types of music, things like that. Look it up. If you're not familiar with that, look up those studies, because it's really interesting. Even our tears. Somebody did a study on the tears and tears from different emotions. have different crystalline structures and things. It's just loads of information out there. But be careful, because there is a lot of misinformation out there. So make sure it's reputable sources. I probably would scroll past AI overviews for now, and actually look at information from like different sources that are not like Wikipedia and stuff like that. So the messages that came through, waking up, there are a lot of, in the last reading, I talked about a lot of blinders, like people having blinders on. And there are a lot of people who are waking up now, and things are going to get very uncomfortable, because in order, like when we look at the Tower card in the tarot deck, it's this discomfort. It's making you completely uncomfortable. It's making it to where holding on to the past, holding on to the things that you have stuck by, even if they weren't the best situations, that you have to give them up, because there's no other option. So we're in a Tower moment right now, and there are a lot of people that are going to not understand. And there's that swallowing thing again that I had with the last reading. It's so weird. The tones are still there, but they're getting a little softer. That's nice. Yeah, feels fearful. Do not, and not, I wrote in capital letters, fear. They thought they stopped the process. So there's a lot of things that are going to be changing and happening right now. And there was this attempt to try to stop some of the things, or at least stop the people who could help with the change. And so they, whoever you want to define they as, whatever your intuitive nature is saying, or whatever it is, they thought they stopped the process. They thought they had the power. Because, and I think they're going to say this, or not they, but my writing is going to say this in a minute. But they thought that if they could identify and control certain things, then they would be able to stop the process or change the outcome. And that's not true. So they did not break you. You have the power. They did not delay you. You strengthened you. You strengthened yourself. So there may have been things, again, like that Tower moment where it was uncomfortable. But ultimately, the choices that you made, no matter what happened in your life, has led you to where you are right now, and to this power and strength that you may not even realize you have for yourself. So the next message is trust yourself. Even with the info you received, go with your intuitive and divinely guided thoughts and feelings. Everyone has intuition. I have said this before. We're just not all as connected to it as some people are. If you feel like something is off, it's off. If you feel like someone is not genuine, they're probably not. Yes, anxiety, PTSD, things like that can color the way that we see situations. But even if you aren't interpreting it correctly, even if there are cognitive distortions that are getting in the way, if something feels off, there's something off. Trust yourself. You may need to do a little more research, sit with it, see what it actually is versus what you may initially think, because ego also gets in the way. But if something's off, it's off. And we don't always feel like we have the power to try to step out of those situations, especially when we're really young, or if we're feeling really vulnerable. Stay the course. Darkness is transmuted by light. Vibrate higher. So those were the messages that I got that came through before the reading. So we're going to go ahead and just step into this. I'm going to move this deck over, because we're going to start with the Crow Tarot and see what comes out. And I did feel called to bring some gemstones over, because I was getting the sense that, to give a visual demonstration of how sometimes things may look like one thing, but there's something hidden inside of them, but there's a hidden quality. So I'll go ahead and I guess start with those. So like this is Mangano calcite. So it looks pink, and some people may even mistake it as rose quartz. And actually with Mangano calcite, you see there's some white in it as well. So I even have a really cool piece. Ugh, you're gonna see me in my like lounger clothes again, but let me go get this piece that's on my desk, or not desk, but my shelf with crystals. Here it is. Ugh. Okay. So this is Mangano calcite as well. And if you look at it, it looks very white. It has a little bit of that pink on it right there. When we look at Mangano calcite under a black light, it glows. So you see, hopefully, it's not showing up on camera as much as it is right here. Let me cut my light out. That may be what I need to do. All right, we got the light out, and that's helping a little bit. So you can see how that glows a different way. So we've got the Mangano calcite tower, and you can see that it lights up this fluorescent pink. So any place on it, it just glows this pink. Lapis lazuli also has sometimes, not every stone, but some of them, you'll get to see these little hidden gems of glow. And I know, like I said, it's hard to see on the camera because it can look like it's just a camera flash or something. Here's a really, there we go. Now you can see that it's not just the camera flash, because you see that some places don't do it, and then some, like right there, just light right up. So that's a lapis lazuli. We have a ruby, honeycomb ruby. This one's really cool. I've shown this one before. It just becomes like this very cool fluorescent pink. Also, sodalite can have some fluorescent in it. So this is a chakra moon, and it has various stones in it. So we've got, looks like some red jasper, some orange aventurine, tiger eye, green aventurine, sodalite, lapis, and amethyst. And when we look, here we go, getting that glow again. Okay, and we'll do one more because this one's really cool too. So this is a chunk of amber. So before I do that one, just to show that it is a chunk of amber, we'll use a regular flashlight, and you can see those amber pieces, like the translucent that comes through the amber. Okay, so the cool thing about amber is also UV reactive. Now look at this. How cool is that? All right, look at this side especially. You got that green that just comes through. So I'll turn my light back on, and then I'll put these away at some point. But there was just this poll to show that these rocks are all different types of rocks, and not every rock is going to have that reactivity in it. But there are rocks that do, and it feels so special. Ooh, that's bright. I'm trying to decide what mode I had this on that was not as, there we go, not as intense to me. Because that has sensitivities to light, sound, smell, taste, all those fun things. So just kind of reiterating the fact that when it comes to those rocks, when it comes to people, we all look different. We all have different aspects of ourselves. We all have different things that make us special, unique. And then we also all have some similarities, and we have to honor those things within ourselves. So I've already shuffled the deck. And let's see what the cards say. So in relation to this waking up and the process of waking up and understanding that others may have tried to break control or utilize various resources, what is it that we need to know? Anyone that's watching this video, what is it that they need to know? And I'm feeling the need to call in Archangel Michael. Thank you so much for bringing in your beautiful blue light and strength. I ask for you to offer protection and guidance for those of us who are experiencing this reading. Archangel Raphael, with your green light and your warm healing energy, helping with love and the heart chakra. I ask that you help those who are learning more about themselves and who are needing that assistance. Please be with them. So we got the Star card as the first card that came out. And then we got the Ace of Swords that flew out when I was calling in Archangel Michael. I'm going to go ahead and pull some more cards and then kind of look at these, and we'll continue from there. Cards are kind of sticking together, which I don't always have with this deck. So let's see. We got several cards that are going sideways here. So the card that just came out was the Queen of Wands. Got some Leo energy coming in. Is there anything else in this first set of cards to interpret? All right, one more shuffle. Nope, that's where we need to start. All right, so we've got the Star card, as I said. We've got the Ace of Swords, and we've got the Queen of Pentacles. So the first thing I'm seeing is red in the first two cards, and I'm like up here in the Star card. It's a red like canopy, or the way I'm seeing it is like a cloth that's kind of flying, and I feel like it's telling us the biggest thing right now, or the first thing, not the biggest thing, the first thing we need to do is to be able to ground ourselves, because there's so much, like when you look at this Ace of Swords card, there's so much chaos, there's so much turmoil and everything that's going on. And it's interesting that in this Star card, when I look at it right now, I'm feeling like the water, while it's healing and cleansing, it's like it's just pouring right out. Like sometimes in the Rider-Waite, I think there's like pitchers that the lady in the Star card is pouring the water from, or collecting the water in, but this is like just pouring down, and it's a lot to take in. There is some peace and calm in these two cards, but they're also both darker cards than the Queen of Wands, and there's a lot of just a lot of chaos and everything that's going on in them. But we do have this little songbird up here, and I'm not sure what this bird is supposed to be. It has some orange and yellow, which orange and yellow for me is sacral chakra and solar plexus chakra. So passion, creativity, intimacy, self-confidence, self-worth, which also is coming up in the Queen of Wands card. And I typically point that out with the Queen of Wands. But with the Star card right now, you see that even in all the dark imagery within this card, the bird definitely stands out. The cloak, which or cloth, I keep calling it cloak, hiding, I heard, like, so this, it's like instead of grounding yourself and stepping into what you need to do to heal, it's like so this is why I keep saying cloak, I think, because it's like the grounding is cloaking yourself, like trying to ignore it, trying to pretend that it doesn't exist, like putting on that like Harry Potter invisibility cloak to be like, if I don't acknowledge it, if you can't see it, then it's not real, then I don't have to deal with it. But the Star is like coming forward and is in front of that cloak, like being able to get that confidence to say, no, I'm not going to hide. I'm going to be me. This is going to be okay. Like, you don't have to feel like you're drowning in everything. There's a lot of emotions that come with this. When we look at water, we think of emotions. And so even the swirling pool or ripple in the pool of water down here is making me think of just feeling like the emotions are too much, but it's not. It's okay. Like, everything will be okay. It's just right now there's so much chaos and so much going on that it's hard to even think about what is the next step forward. It feels like you feel like you're healing and you feel like you're doing the things, and then here comes something else. And then you're trying to heal and do the things, and then here comes something else. Like, we're working on healing, and then here comes something else. Here comes something else. Here comes something else. And this is all, like, with this water, it's all coming from, like, above. It's things that are kind of coming in that you weren't expecting. Things that feel so just heavy, overwhelming. And I almost feel like, looking at this crow, I wouldn't usually say this, but it looks almost in this, to me today, like it's wanting to fly away. And don't dim yourself. Don't fly away, because the truth is coming forward. Like, you see this sword is splitting through all that darkness, all the clouds, and there's sun behind it. Like, there's a new beginning. There's good, positive things that are coming, or at least things that'll be better for you. And we even have this victory wreath behind here. Like, it's going to be okay. But at the same time, like with these mountains down here at the bottom, it doesn't feel like it's going to be. It's been a battle. It's been a uphill journey, and it may still be that at times. And so that can be pretty scary, but you're going to have to speak plainly. You're going to have to speak your truth. What is that quote? I think it may even be a Ruth Bader Ginsburg quote. I cannot remember, but it talks about being able to speak even if your voice shakes. So if you know that quote, you can remind me. Down here, interestingly, when we look at this mask, this rose, it almost looks like a mask, or like I see kind of a knight's mask over in the corner. So again, it feels like a battle. It feels like a battle, and it may be a battle. But there's victory that comes from this battle. Like, it's not kind of like with the messages. They did not break you. They did not delay you. You strengthened you. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Trust the information that you divinely receive. Even if people seem like they're on the same level, use your intuition, use your caution, because sometimes people are not always understanding things the same way that you do. And even if your journeys are similar, there may be different things, different interpretations they have, or they may still be hiding themselves or not understanding themselves in some way. And it creates this disconnect for them. What is that? Why does that yellow circle keep getting my attention? It reminds me of like a pentacle. So I just feel like that's further confirmation that it's going to be okay, and you are going to have that abundance. But it might be scary for a little while, and it might feel like a battle for a little while. But even look at, you've got nothing that would suggest growth down here, but we have this rose growing out of what looks to me like a knight's mask. Like, there is growth. It's not hopeless. There are things that are going to happen. And one of the difficulties, just like I was saying with the Ace of Swords, is you're going to have to work on building this confidence. You're going to have to work on believing in yourself, trusting your intuition, trusting those divinely guided messages that you're getting, knowing that there is a new beginning. There is growth. We have the sunflowers that are blossoming and blooming. And then this crown, like connecting with that crown chakra, knowing that you can connect with the divine. And then being able, like, to I don't know why I'm kind of seeing like a third eye kind of image here, but connecting again with that intuition with your pineal gland. There's so much fear around intuition, premonition, things like that. And what we have to remember is that even in written words, even in things who are very knowledgeable or have certain experiences, we're all going to see things in a different way. You can witness an accident and have 3 different witness reports from each person that saw it, because they all have different perspectives. And so with that, it's not to say that somebody else's experience or perspective is wrong and yours is right, or vice versa, but that your truth is your truth, and it's okay for you to speak your truth, because speaking your truth is what leads to your healing. And I keep getting called to the crow or raven skull at the bottom. And of course, I'm empathic crow, and I love crows and ravens, and even have a couple of stones. One of them has a little bit of euperlite in it, actually, which is another one of those stones that grow that are crow skulls. Let me get those real quick. I gotta see. When we think of, and especially because it's a crow or raven skull, sometimes when we think of crows or ravens, people tend to think of them as being scary. Just like with what I was talking about, you know, these cards, you think of it as being kind of scary because they think of crows as like omens, like bad omens and death and things like that. But when you pull back, crows can also be signs of intelligence, because crows are very intelligent. They are great with pattern recognition. They do have a level of suspicion. So if you befriend a crow, then they fully trust you. And that's a pretty amazing thing to be able to do. I have some crow friends, and I have had one take food out of my hand before, but still be cautious later. So I feel like maybe that's partly saying, again, with that discerning, to be discerning, to know that signs, like some people feel that crows are messengers. You know, they bring messages from our loved ones or from the other side. So just knowing that, reinforcing that message, you want to be discerning with the information that you take in. There's a lot of information out there. There's sometimes things that may not be accurate. There may be things that are trying to lead you down a path that is like I'm seeing a rabbit hole, which is a word that I've been using a lot. Like you're going down this whole rabbit hole that doesn't make sense. It's throwing you off the scent. So be really, ooh, what was that? It flew out underneath the thing. The Two of Wands, interesting, because we got the Two of Wands in the last card reading as well. So understanding that, you know, there's a lot more than what is right in front of you. You have multiple paths that you can go down. And in this card, one of the things that really struck me is the light versus the darker side of the card. Like the fact that you've got this kind of grayish, like I think of gray in winter and things like that. And then you've got this more earthy, orange, yellow, brown color. So there are different options. There's different sides. There's different aspects to everything, including ourselves. You've got the world. Like this is not just something that you have to hold within you. And this is something where we've got these cherry blossoms down here. So again, we've got this imagery of the darker, like kind of rock mountain, that tough energy. Like you have multiple paths, you have ways to go, and some of them may be harder than others, but again, it's you make the choice. There's a moon in there. There's a moon up by the earth. There's a lot of choices that you're going to have to consider too. There's 2 all within that card. 2. Yeah, so just know that you don't have to go with what everyone's saying. Even something I say may not resonate with you. Judgment. We've got 2 X's here because 10 and 10, so 20. With the Judgment card, what I'm seeing is just understanding that this is a time where there is going to be a lot of changes, as we had said before. And that's interesting. I've gotten this card before, but I've never really paid attention to the fact that that flag looks like the flag of England. Is she from England? I didn't know. I've never looked into her background. Does it say? Is that why there's a flag of England on here? Interesting. I don't know. It doesn't say. I'm not sure. But with this Judgment card, again, we do have that darker imagery. We have the light. We have the water that's very renewing. We have these stones that can represent a balance. We have these crows. You can see the skeletons, and they're flying up. So there's a lot of changes, a lot of transitions that are going to happen. Some of those may be physical transitions. Some of them may not. But just being able to really find that balance and know that I feel like if you're doing things and you're doing them for the good of yourself and others, then the Judgment is different than when you're doing things for the good of only yourself. So just keeping in mind that there is a balance that is returning. And that looks like fire. Yeah, back up here where these where the sky is, there it looks like fire. So fire can be very cleansing, fire can be very scary. But even when we think of because these look like mountains, like a controlled burn in the mountain, it's to renew the land. So we've got these changes and transitions, and it's renewing things for us, but it's going to feel scary in the process because they say a controlled burn, but at the same time it feels like, but how can they control it? What if the wind changes? That's the way my anxious mind goes. And so I feel like what I'm being told is you have to just trust the process, because what comes after is worth it. It's going to be scary, but what comes after is worth it. Is there anything else that we need to get right now from these cards? Woo! Okay, so you just flew out. The Wheel of Fortune, that's interesting because I talked about the Wheel of Fortune in the last one, because the Wheel of Fortune came out in the last card as well. And so with this card tarot deck, when we look at this Wheel of Fortune, several cards turned over at the same time. So we had talked the last time about the snake and how we have to pay attention. Snakes aren't always a bad thing. Snakes can be really good for our environment and everything. Scorpions, scorpions aren't bad. They're not out to try to get you, but if you're in their path or you're in their home or whatever, then they might. And also with the Scorpion and Scorpio, I'm a Scorpio, so I get this. We have a very high intuition, Scorpios do. Leo bringing in that strength. So trusting your intuition, bringing in your confidence, but also being discerning and knowing that not everyone who is providing you with information or who seems like they know all this stuff and you feel like it's just really helpful, and that's not always the case. So definitely trust your gut, because some things that you're going to hear, some things that people are going to say, even people that you feel like you've connected with, are not going to be the truth as you see it. When I see this bull, I have a family member who is a Taurus, and we talk about the stubbornness. So stand your ground. Like with Taurus, also we look at earth energy. Stand your ground, be grounded, and just really allow yourself to connect with the earth. And also we've got this divine looking being here, and she's got this water. And so again, I'm being pulled back to the Star card. This is your healing, but through that healing, you've also got to ground yourself. You've got to be solid with what you believe as far as how you feel, what you feel is the truth. Use your intuition, but also know that not everything is how it may appear, and have that confidence, because if you have that confidence, it's harder to sway you into things that don't align with you, things that don't feel right to you. And I keep seeing this symbol. Where's that other card? Like, we've got the feminine energy and the masculine energy coming in some of these symbols. And the big thing about that is just knowing that the feminine and masculine energy is within all of us. So people get really hung up on whether somebody's feminine or somebody's masculine. You're both. You are both by nature. You can have aspects of both. And it doesn't mean anything out of the ordinary. It just means that sometimes you may be in that more masculine energy where you are focused on more logic, or focused more on how things work, focused on what you can see in front of you. And then sometimes you're going to be in that more feminine energy, that intuitive energy, that mothering energy, that more flowing, I keep seeing water really flowing energy. And with that, it's finding a balance. I keep saying balance, and I just looked at the stones on the shore here in the Judgment card. Finding that balance, that's going to be really important. I'm going to do 3 shuffles more of the Crow Tarot, see if there's anything else, but I feel like we are coming, whoops, let me get those sorted. I feel like we're coming to an end, not sorted, balanced with the tarot. All right, one more shuffle. Yeah, there's nothing else coming out with that. So let's move on to the Urban Crow Oracle deck and see what's some clarifying. So with this awakening, this wake up, trusting our intuition, healing, going through a period of trying to find balance, judgment, transition, what do we need to know? What do we need to focus on? All right, so first we've got exposed. The truth is being exposed. And if you have some sense that you feel you connected with my initial message of like childhood memories, unlocking and everything, there's a huge exposure going on, not just with that, but also with other things. And so, you know, I feel like we're, those of us that are learning or shining light on things, we're the crow here. And we're just, you see this owl is trying to come down and attack. Is that an owl or a hawk? That is a hawk. That is a red-tailed hawk. The hawk is coming down and like trying to seem intimidating. You know, it's got its wings spread, its tail feathers spread, making itself bigger. And the crow's just like, I'm going to put my feathers back down, get my stance. I am not moving. And notice that with that exposure, there's a lot of movement of these crows. There's lots of fear, and there's a dark sky and things like that where this hawk is. But when we look down here, the crow, he's all chill. He or she, they're all chill. And we've got some light that's come in. I don't know where the light source is. You can't see it in the photo, right? But we've got light that's come in. This is a lighter, more spring type of energy. And we've got these flowers, a new beginning. So just understand that the exposure is going to feel scary. And with the tree even, like that grounding, look, we've got the grounding, we've got the roots, like this is deep rooted. And you are supported by so much more than what you know, whether that's ancestors, angels, spirit guides, God, source, universe, like I said, any of those things. Just know that it's going to be okay. Like, look at those fluffy white clouds in the sky. Like, it's all coming together. And the next card, 36, play. So it's raining, but they're still dancing in the rain. They're still playing. So even through this time where it feels very heavy, dark, confusing, there's a lot going on. part of what you're being called to do is play. You're being called to step into things and do things that make you feel good, things that you love, whether that's doing readings, whether that's doing art, whether that is getting out in nature, whatever it is. Because when you step into what you love, you're also calling others to do the same. When you allow yourself to see things through those childlike eyes, to see things, and I see these lights as I'm saying this because I about said illuminate, to see things through this illuminated light. That's not exactly how I was going to say it. But to see things through this, like, it's not filtered. Like, the light is shining down on it. It's not filtered through all the things that you've been told, like all this crap that you've been told that isn't true, and that other people are like, oh, it has to be true because they still got those blinders on. And you start to play, and look, there's a ripple right here, which made me think of like raising the vibration. You're raising your vibration. You're helping to raise the vibration of others. And as you do the things that you love and you find balance within yourself, you're pulling other people into that, and other people are going to start to feel more balanced within themselves. And with balance, it doesn't mean that there aren't things that we discover that is going to be difficult to accept, that is going to be hard, but you've got community. Look at these roots. Your roots go deep. The truth is something that has always been there. You've got all these red flowers. Ground yourself. With the poppies, you know, sometimes when we think of poppies, it can be around Memorial Day and remembering. That's remembrance. Remembering that those that fought the battle, honoring them, remembering that even if a battle comes to us, that we can get through it, and we've got those roots. And things can look desolate, but look at how lovely those flowers are. Look at how bright they are. And look, behind the crows up at the top, there's a sun coming through. There's a new beginning. So there's a lot of dark imagery in these cards right now, and it's not going to feel easy. This is a difficult time. But it doesn't mean that we're not going to be able to get through it. But in order for us to get through it, in order for you to get through it, you're going to have to let go of focusing on that darkness and focusing on the things that feel like they are holding you back, and start focusing on those new beginnings, the sacred space, focusing on what you feel divinely guided to, focusing on the people who are supportive, like I said in the last reading, the people who you feel safe around, the people who support you, the people who feel like true community. There is a new beginning that's coming, but it can be very difficult. You see, there's a lot of darkness behind the two crows who are looking at this nest. There are these beautiful blue eggs that would suggest spring. There's also these leaves that are fall colors. This card in and of itself, like, we've got spring, summer, fall, and winter all in one card. So that sacred space is understanding that it all belongs, it's all connected. And even though you may have, like, I'm hearing like a favorite season, there's the spring flowers, you may have like a favorite season or time, they're all necessary. All of this, the light and the dark, the winter and more gray time, the time when the trees are bare, things like that, as well as spring when things bloom, the warmer summer weather, the fall and the beautiful colors. It's all necessary. It's all about the renewal. And this time when things feel dark, it's about renewal. It's going to be coming to the light. All right, 2 more shuffles. Anything else from this oracle deck? I think the message is coming through pretty clear. So we've got direction, and that is a 12. And we've got this light radiating out of the crow, and you've got these other crows that are just flying around like crazy, and we've got these clouds, but the light is bursting through the clouds. And this card has a lot brighter colors than any of the cards that I've pulled before. So understanding you're going in the right direction. Trust yourself. 1 and 2, 3. 3. And as I said that, I see 43 in the sacred space and 36 in the play. My eyes went to those. So 333, the Christ consciousness. Just know everything is happening for your highest good. There's also a 3 in this next card, which is waterproof. So you see all the rain that's coming down, the storm clouds and everything. We've also got some beautiful roses in the background. And so again, just knowing it's going to be hard, but stay steady, steadfast is the word that's coming to mind. Stay steadfast, ground yourself, that red grounding, but also allow yourself to step into this yellow confidence. And again, that sacral passion, creativity, intimacy, connections, things like that. Allow yourself to step into all of that so that you can be able to get through this without it affecting you to the point that you give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. You weren't broken. All right, with the divine timing oracle, why do I need this? What do we need a time on? What do we need a time on? When can we expect that things will shift? All right, so we got no need to hurry, so don't rush. And then interestingly enough, I got September, October. And both of these cards have the time going the same way. And do they all do that? They do. Okay, so that's not anything to worry about right now. Like I said, I'm new to these, but September, October. So it looks like maybe that's where we're also getting that fall imagery within the nest. So I don't know what's happening in September, October. We've had a lot of orange, red, and yellow, those lower chakras. Solar plexus, sacral, and root chakra. But we've also had some of the other chakras as well. I called an Archangel Raphael with the green and heart chakra. I'm wearing a lot of green. Throat chakra, blue, called an Archangel Michael. There's been a lot of blue in the imagery, a lot of reference to water, healing and things like that. We've talked about the third eye chakra, and that would be a very indigo, dark, purpley blue color, which is in some of these cards with the mountains and things like that. And then the violet color of the crown chakra. Also, white can be in a golden color. So just knowing that, I don't know why I just went through all the chakra colors, and they're, as you can see, all in my room. Maybe color and chakras, things like that may be important, but this message, they're all starting to feel this way to me, has a lot of connections, but it also feels very like disjointed to me because there's so many messages, I guess, that are trying to come through, and we're at 52 minutes again, which is what the last reading was. But there's no need to hurry. Focus on healing yourself. With September, October, not really sure what that is leading to. It could be different for all of you, but just understanding that could even mean that around that time is when you really feel comfortable with yourself. Like, you don't have to hurry. Just know that you're going in this is the card that I just saw. You're going in the right direction. Try not to fear what's coming. It's going to be okay. Take care, everyone.